What's going on, everybody? Big D coming at you. Brand new interview series. Excited to be back. No show last week. I just decided, you know what? It was just too hard to find a guest to try to do a replacement on the last second, and everybody I threw out a line to just couldn't make it. So I enjoyed a nice day of not having to do anything, and it was really nice. But before I bring on my guest and before we get started, reminder, pinned in the comments section is a link to my link tree. Click on it. Go support my advertisers, sponsors, and preferred retail partners. They help continue to keep all the programming going on the show, and your support goes a long way. Whether you're looking for cigars, or that's an accessory, or accessories, I got you covered. So use the exclusive promo codes only available to my viewers out there to save yourself some coinage. So I'm excited. Tonight, my guest, it's a newer brand that's out on the market. Seems to be a really big hit down in the South in the Atlanta area. Brandy and I had him on the Tuesday night show a little over a month ago, bringing him on here to talk a little bit about you because he brought up a lot of great things in the Tuesday show that I think are more relevant over here, whereas the Tuesday show is just more of a review, and he can get more detailed about the values, the story behind the cigar on as well. And of course, you know, the goal in mind with the brand is to create a new generation of luxury boutique cigars. And I think the guy is definitely on the track of getting there, man, because I have been loving these sticks. So, without further ado, he is the brand owner of Belmaachi Cigars, Sam Falaki. Welcome, sir.
What a welcome. Well, thank you, Big D, Dan Ravanelli. It's a pleasure to be on here again. Thank you so much for having me.
Here we go. We are talking with you. We got the Belmaachi Cigars. I'm excited. Brandy and I had you on over on Instagram for the review show a little over a month ago, and you got a drool-worthy performance from the cigar.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I haven't decided which one I'm going to smoke tonight. I've got my little gift box here with the three varieties. It's not the Connecticut. The Connecticut's not in here, but I think I'm going to go with a Habano today. I've been smoking the hell out of my Habanos lately.
I'm going to go with the Gold Band.
The Gold Band with the Black Lion?
Yeah.
That one's a little different. They love it in Atlanta, but a lot of places they don't like it. It's a Sumatra, so it's a love it or hate it kind of deal. But if you want something different, it's definitely something worth trying.
I definitely want to try it because I have been smoking the crap out of the Maduros.
They're good. The Maduros
are so good. So trying out the Sumatra here, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. So the Sumatra, just for your viewers to know and yourself, in the beginning, it tastes a little spicy, but as it warms up, when you get down to half an inch, the flavor profile changes. It's a greasy wrapper. It's got a lot of essential oils. So as it warms up and those oils come out, the flavors start to come out more. So
I can see it. Yeah. Miss Michelle, my work wife. What is going on? See ya.
All right.
Yes, I can, and definitely it has a very musty smell on the coming off.
Yeah,
it smells fantastic.
Yeah, a hash stick, you said?
No, it has a very musty smell.
Oh yes, yeah. It's definitely different. And so if you're a cigar, lover and you like to try different things, it's a good one. Some people, when they go to that one, they just want to keep smoking. I smoked that one for a long time, and I tend to smoke a cigar until I'm sick of it, kind of like music. And lately, I've been on the Habano, but I used to be my favorite for a while.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. The Maduros have really kind of been my jam for the last month, so I'm like, well, let's try something different here.
Right.
So give the people out there, while I'm getting lit up, a little backstory on you and the brand.
So I didn't intend to get into the cigar business, actually, but I was intending to move to Nicaragua to reconnect. I have friends out there. I used to live out there, and I was thinking of moving down there, with the pandemic and so on up in Canada. I wasn't a big fan of how they were doing things up here. I'm a bit of a rebel, so I said, I don't like all these rules. Let me go down Nicaragua. I know they they're survivors down there. They're not gonna go hiding because of this. They're already dealing with these kind of things. So I went down there and I reconnected with a lot of friends. And one day I was in San Juan del Sur one weekend with a friend, Wesley Savory. He's a big basketball guy there, and through him I knew Marvin Bernard, which used to play for the San Francisco Giants in like the 2000s. He was a good player, and he's Nicaraguan, so he's a national hero over there because in Nicaragua baseball is the number one religion. So he said, Sammy, what do you think about going to Esteli? And I thought, well, I don't know that part of Nicaragua. I've been to the Caribbean, the Pacific. I love the cowboy stuff. I'm a city boy who dreams of having his own horse one day. So I said, sure. He goes, really? He said, I'm going up there for the cigars. And, and I'm sure he is. And everybody would be loving him, throwing good cigars at him. He says, yeah, I'll go. I'm down. Let's go. I don't know that part. So he called his boy Tito. And Tito is the Cuban coach of Esteli's baseball team. So Tito received us up there. It's a 4-hour drive from the south, the beach, all the way to the north, and he took us out. He showed us he took us first to the family that make Mike Tyson's cigars. That was pretty cool. And then he took us to this Cuban guy who he considered was the best producer, because Marvin Bernard is a national hero, and he's going to take him to the best, right? So I met Carlos Pereda. That's his name. And his tabacalera, his tobacco operation is called Tabacalera Flor de San Luis. So I met him there, and I was impressed. I was excited, and I did smoke cigars. I wasn't a big cigar aficionado, but I like cigars. And so we became friends. And he doesn't speak English. I asked him, why don't you have your own brand? He says, well, I don't speak English. I have a hang-up. But you, Samir, that's my full name, Samir, Sam in English. He says, you should get in the cigar business, make your own brand. I'll help you. He really encouraged me. And so I started taking different samples and different blends back with me. Every time I went to Nicaragua, I was going quite often and spending a lot of time there. And US, Canada, Europe, and I came up with them. So the first ones we came out with, the first blends was the Sumatra and the Maduro. And then so it caught on. I saw people liked it. They said, wow, this is really good. So I started believing in it. And then I invested in a brand. Now I had to think of a name. So for those of you who are wondering, where does Belmaachi come from? My Moroccan uncle, because I'm half Moroccan, my Moroccan uncle who came to visit in Canada saw that I was going on a business trip in Nicaragua. He's spending a few months with us in Montreal. And he said he wanted to come with me because he's into plants. He wrote a little book. Actually, I have it sitting over there somewhere it's like a plant dictionary. And so he's like 70 something. He said, okay, come. We left the women behind, my wife, my aunt, and we went down to Nicaragua, and he taught me how to smoke cigars in Nicaragua. And he passed away like 3 years ago. So I thought it was fitting, it just made sense. And I thought the name sounded cool also, So that's where the name Belmaachi comes from. And then I got the cigar rings, and then I saw it was catching on. I started shipping to my cousin in Africa, who happens to have the same last name, who wanted to get in the cigar business. It was a coincidence. I said, well, I'm here. You don't have to get him through the middleman or anything. And I videoed him, and he saw the factory, and he saw everything. I said, I'll just ship them straight to you. And they got your name on it. And he said, done deal. So I've been shipping there for 2 years, and it's going well. It's expanding there. And then I finally figured out how to do the United States, and we launched in the US just this year, a few months ago. And I'm getting really good reception. And I started investing in packaging and so on, and so far it's a really good reception.
Yeah, and the fact that you really broke in one of the top, in one of the best, I think, in the United States cigar community, cigar markets. But then you also broke. But it's also one of the toughest for brands to get into, which is Atlanta.
Really? Yeah.
So, the fact that they immediately dug what you were doing and it brought you in, and you got that as really a huge market, it really, I think, says a lot about the quality and the stick.
Yeah. Well, when I first knew I was onto something in the United States is when I visited. I was in Florida, and I was going to meet Marvin Bernard there actually because he was managing Team Nicaragua on a Caribbean Series tournament.
Mhm.
I went there ahead of them. So in the meanwhile, I traveled around and I was trying looking for cheaper hotels. I went north of Miami, and the more north I went, the more expensive it got. And are you okay? Mm. And I went to.
Yes, I'm good. Huh?
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm,
So
I'm, I'm good. I'm good. Somebody's trying to raid my pockets for cash.
oh yeah, I know how kids are. So anyhow, so I ended up in Palm Beach, and I walked into one. I said I went to the beach. I dried myself off, and then I looked on the map. Are there any cigar lounges around here? And I saw there's one. It's called Churchill Cigar Company. So I dried myself off, put some perfume on, like it was nothing, And I walk up this street called Worth Avenue, and it reminded me of when I was in Europe, like Marbella, Puerto Banús, or French Riviera type stuff. Very luxury. And I walk in, and I'm like, okay. So I say, oh hi. I introduce myself, da 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 da, and the guy had a French accent. And me being speaking French, I said, "Are you French?" He said, "Well, we're not all perfect." And so so it started like that. That was Stefan. And so I went in there and I hung out for a couple hours, and it was really cool. And then the next day I went back to see the other owner, but I came too late, and I hung out with Stefan again. And then the next day I went back and hung out, and I really like the atmosphere. It's a beautiful lounge. It's really nice. I love going there. Whenever I get a chance to go to Palm Beach, I'm definitely going to spend a lot of time there because you're very relaxed, good atmosphere. Um, you know, and I like it reminds me of Europe a little bit. So, and I get to talk crap in French with Stefan, and and so they said, I said, well, I was running around all the cigars. I say, look, I'm having a good time here. If you tell me you're going to keep my cigars, I'll just call it a day. He goes, yeah, sure. So that was my first retailer, and I was like, oh my God bless America, this is it. So I knew I was onto something because it had to be quality for me to get in there. It couldn't be crap. It could be get along well and everything. So then I really got my hopes up, and then I started, I had like 2-3 retails in Florida. And then I'll tell you why Atlanta, I figured, well, it's a good market. It looks like there's a lot of cigar shops and so on. And I said, but my father lives there, right? And my sister lives there, and my best friend lives there. And so I don't have to pay a hotel or cars, and I get to eat for free half the time. So I think I'm going to start with Atlanta as a market.
Good market to get into.
Yeah. And I tell you what, we just came back from Atlanta Cigar Experience with Cigar Mike, and wow, I just had a great time. It's a lot of fun. Now, the cigar business was interesting in Florida, but in Atlanta, I had fun. I loved it. There was so much love, and the community is really special out there. And it's like kind of like a family, And once you get in, if you're cool and nice and everything, everybody. It was very that southern friendliness, hospitality was just fantastic.
Big change from like Atlanta to Montreal for sure.
Well, definitely, yeah.
It's different atmosphere, a different party.
Yeah.
Like it's probably been 20 years since I was last in Montreal.
Yeah.
So I've been to Atlanta quite a bit, and
Yeah.
I'd rather hang out in Atlanta than Montreal. Montreal's a cool city. It's nice,
Yeah.
cool place to go visit for a couple days. But
Yeah.
I'd rather be in
Yeah.
Atlanta. I'd rather hang out.
And me too, to be honest with you. I'm here because my children and things like that. But I told them you better prepare yourself because as soon as you're 18, I'm out of here.
I know.
Mm.
See, that's great. I can't believe that woman took all my cash out of my pocket.
You haven't learned yet?
Oh my God! She's like, you got. She's like, you got any money? And I was like, no. And then I was like, oh yeah. And then she's like, oh, I thought she just wanted a couple bucks. She took everything.
I was looking for my little shot. I'm drinking a little bit of this. I told them I want something sweet. They give me this Diplomatico. I like sweet rum with cigars, and it's actually pretty good. Goes pretty well, nice and smooth.
That, now, I'm not the biggest Sumatra fan, but this is very good. Just really starting off. Like you said, that it does pack a little bit of a punch with the spice right up front in that first half of that first third. But now it has tamed off, and that earthiness of the cigar is really coming through on the cigar. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I was really waiting for the deep bitterness to hit that's reminiscent in most Sumatras. Has not hit. I'm getting just the beautiful earthy flavors.
We adjusted. We adjusted that blend as we were in the beginning, as we were learning, to make it a little bit more sweeter like that, so that it has less of that bitterness.
When I say bitter to the people who are watching, I'm a good bitter, not bad bitter.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's like an IPA beer. It's not for everyone.
Well, and for me, Sumatras kind of give me that bad bitter taste in my mouth, not that good bitter. But so far, this is very nice. The earth tones are wonderful. The sweetness is it's not, there's just not an overly sweetness to it. It's just very nice. It's there.
Yeah.
It just kind of says hi, and that's really the earthiness talk in this cigar.
Yeah,
unlike when we did that Maduro, which was very coffee cocoa heavy.
Yes, that's what I've been told, because I'm not very good with notes. But that's what a lot of people have been telling me. It has that a little bit of coffee cacao in it, and the Habano too is what they say. The Sumatra is a little special. They really like it in Atlanta. Although I caught some guys are like, "Hey man, that cigar, not so much." I said, "Come here." I give him a Habano. Then after that, he gives me a hands up. So it's all about connecting with the people who like your cigars. It's like I see it as craft beer. It's not that my cigar is better than his cigar or her cigar. It's just that you got to connect with the people who like yours. But the important thing is, I want mine to have flavor. I told Carlos, I said, my guidance in this, because you're the master, I said I want my cigars to have flavor and to be a little different. And so I think we managed, a little bit.
I think you've done a fantastic job. Like I said, I really like that Maduro. Like the Maduro, that is such a delicious cigar.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm gonna have to order more of them, because they are really good. But I do enjoy this. I am enjoying this Sumatra. Not as much as I enjoy the
Maduro.
Maduro, but I do like this. And again, I was expecting bad bitter on my palate, and I have not got it. It is very nice, light, nice spice notes, beautiful earth tones to it, light sweetness. So that right there is just just adds it to a winning profile, because most people aren't big Sumatra people.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I was a little uneasy. I was thinking, are we going to reduce the Sumatra eventually, put a San Andres or something? Now we did add a Connecticut, but I ran out. I did it as a test because the retailers told us we should have Connecticut's because they're fast sellers. And so we did add a Connecticut, and that got a really good reception. So it's coming in the next batch, our next importation.
I have not tried the Connecticut yet. I've only stuck to the Maduros. That's it.
Yeah. And then, in Atlanta, I was surprised. A lot of people really love our Lanceros are the Sumatra blend, and they're very popular also with the shop owners and so on. And it's even sweeter. The Lancero is even sweeter. It's got more creaminess to it.
Right here, people.
Oh, you got it right there. Yeah.
Yeah, here's the Lancero. For those of you out there that like those.
Yeah, I was surprised that the Atlanta cigar experience was just amazing. Great people. Cigar Life guy, Dave, he's great. He introduced me around, and then I got to know people really quickly. And when I got to know Cigar Mike, he was so nice, and he helped me. He wrote a list. He put on a list a whole bunch of names of stores and people, and said you could hit them up and even say I sent you, I gave you their number and all that, and then when it came time for his event, I just sponsored him just because of that. Like he didn't even ask me. He didn't ask me anything. He just helped me out, and I said, "This guy's solid, man. I'm going to sponsor him."
Mike is the mayor of the cigar community of Atlanta. For sure.
Yeah, I noticed.
It looks like you got a fan in the chat there, Roy
DeMille's brother. Is that YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay, so tell me about this. It's the first time I do a live stream like this. Are we on multiple platforms, or what are we on?
We're on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn.
Oh wow! Okay, LinkedIn.
You laugh about it, but there are a lot of industry people. There are a lot of industry people connected or on LinkedIn. Not the faces, the people that that are part of the brand, but Mary from accounting is on LinkedIn, and Sam in distribution is in LinkedIn. So there are the professional people within the industry that are on LinkedIn, which is why I have it on there. But it has also opened up another platform for me where I've had quite a few manufacturers reach out to me via LinkedIn instead of off of YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. So I think it's more of a budding platform out there within the community. But and again, it is a lot of peer to peer. But if you are looking for certain people on, for something specific within the industry, you can find those people on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So I've been having a good time in Atlanta. I can't wait to go back. I just came back yesterday, so I missed the last day of the Cigar Mike event, unfortunately. But I had some constraints. I had to get back over here, and I look forward to going back and traveling around. I met people from all over the country over there. There's people from Detroit and everything, and so I plan to be moving around soon. Hopefully this has been financed by myself, but now I think the Belmaachi family is probably going to jump in and throw a bunch of bucks in there, and then we'll be able to go to all these events and put a little bit more in it, because it's picking up. And last thing we want to do is run out of cigars, and then when everybody just starts liking them,
Yes, exactly. The Atlanta Cigar Week is really one of the premier cigar festivals in the country. It's like
now. But I do want to mention there's a difference between Atlanta Cigar Week and Atlanta Cigar Experience.
Yeah,
they used to be partners, right? So Atlanta Cigar Week is like the social event, and Atlanta Cigar Experience is like the real smokers, right? I mean, they go to both generally, but Cigar Mike is the Atlanta Cigar Experience.
Yes. And the mayor of Atlanta Cigar, of all things cigars in Atlanta. If you go anywhere in Atlanta and you drop, even if you don't know Mike personally, any place you go in there, you drop Mike's name, you get the gold carpet treatment.
As long as you don't screw it up, I guess.
As long as you don't screw it up, yeah, pretty much. But you can drop Mike's name anywhere in Atlanta at any lounge, and even though the exclusive lounges are like, your name's not on the list. Oh yeah, Mike told me to come here, and then they let you right in. So
and I saw people that I saw on the internet. I used to watch them on the internet, and then a guy comes over and he's got a shirt that says "Puff, Sip, and Chat." I said, "Hey, I saw you on the internet." He goes, "Yeah, well, I'm here now, and I love your stuff, and let's talk." And it's just a lot of fun.
Yes, and you see a lot of that, like especially at the trade shows. You see a lot of those same people that go to the trade shows. They're there.
Interesting.
Doing content out at the trade shows, and they also show up at some of the other events that go on throughout the country. So
and who knows everybody in the country is Rob Loud.
Rob knows everybody. I don't know how this dude knows everybody, but this dude knows everybody. I love
And
Rob and his big green mohawk.
so I walked into how I know Rob is I walked into just out of the blue. I walked into a tobacco store, it's called Casa del Tabaco, Social, and it's Dominican guys. So I'm speak Spanish too, French, Spanish. And so I talking to them in Spanish. And next thing you know, I spent 2-3 hours there. And they said, let's do an event at our other store. And it went really well. And then they said, Sammy, come here. And then I went the day after and we were just hanging out. He says, you got to talk to this guy. So he calls Rob Loud on the phone. Says, hey, you have to talk to this guy, Belmaachi. And that's how I met Rob. And it so happens that I was staying at my dad's house this time. And he lives in the same suburb, in the same area, like 5 minutes away. And he doesn't drink. At least not now. And then so he ended up being my designated driver for one of the events, which was fantastic because I'm with him and he's introducing me to everybody he knows.
That's great. Prometheus, welcome from Iceland.
You're
the first person from Iceland that I've had jump on. Yeah, it's great. And Rob passed your information over to me.
That's right. Yeah, he told me. He said you should check Dave, Big D Ravanelli, and sorry, I changed your name again.
I'm so used to it. My dad's name is Dave, and everybody's all Dave. My aunt and my mom were always David, Daniel, and I was like,
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. It just, because there's also Dave, Cigar Life guy.
I'm so used to it. It's all right. Rob hit me up with your contact info and said you should hit him up. I talked to him for a couple hours. I smoked his cigars. They were really good. He'd be a really good fit for your Tuesday show. And I was like, and it's one of those that, I'm rather picky about brands and who I bring on to my shows. Yeah. But, Rob vouched for you, and I trust him completely. So I'm like, sure, bet. I will definitely hit him up because, I get hit up by everybody, and I'm overly focused on that. And so when somebody like Rob says that you're solid, I'm like, no doubt.
Well, I'll tell you what, about the product, the cigars themselves. I don't have any doubt about the cigars. The reason is Carlos Pereda from Tabacalera Flor de San Luis. I'll tell you about him a little bit, right? So he left Cuba about 20 years ago with just a few bucks in his pocket, and I went to Nicaragua to continue the family legacy. That was his vision, and he did it. So he started working in the industry, being well paid for over there because he grew up on his grandfather's farm and his great grandparents' operation and all that. They've been out there for generations of working on tobacco. And when you go in his office in Nicaragua, he's got pictures of his family from when he was a little boy. Some of them are black and white with old tractors. So it's really in his family. It's in his DNA. So I wouldn't have done it with anybody else, And so I knew that and he sees that he sees that I'm doing this seriously. So he's making sure, for example, my Connecticut's, he said, we're not going to start them right away. We're going to wait for this guy to finish because he's one of our best rollers, and we only want to put the best on your products. So that's the kind of relationship we have, and I always big them up. I don't front. I don't pretend I'm the manufacturer. I mean, it's all them. I put the design. I came up with the the styling and all that. I wanted something different. I wanted something more modern. I got an Italian designer who lives in England, that specializes in liquor and cigars. And I told him I want something modern. I don't want to do the rustic look. Everybody's doing rustic. I want to do something that you'll find in a duty-free shop, or that looks like luxury chocolates or jewelry or something like that, a little bit more modern, because the demographics of who's smoking cigars have changed. A lot of people 40, 50 years old, they grew up listening to different music. It's not the, the baby boomers, anymore, I mean, still them, but so. And that's what I tried to do. And I told him again, my guidance for him was, I said, I want our cigars to be known for flavor and something a little bit different. And he just, every time, never disappoints. And he makes the adjustments. Keeps the recipe very close because he's been burnt before. People tried to copy his blends. But actually, the blend is very hard to recreate because we have two farms, one in Jalapa and one in Somoto. And then so the blends are Jalapa, Somoto generally, and some Condega. The Condega we buy on the market, but the Jalapa and the Somoto, which are the primo ones, we grow ourselves, right? Ourselves, I mean, Carlos grows it, but and Somoto is in the north near the Honduran border, and it's at very high altitude. It's a different kind of tobacco. It's a little bit reddish, and it doesn't burn out. You go to the bathroom and come back, and your cigar's still lit.
This cigar just really, I'm about halfway through on the stick, and it had, I've gone from I liked it to I'm really enjoying it now.
So
At this halfway mark, the flavor profiling,
it changes.
everything on this, it just really has changed. It's very good, and I'm like, okay, this is a good stick. It's solid. I don't know if it's one that I'd probably smoke again, but now that I hit this halfway mark, and it's really gotten interesting for me.
You know, that it reminds me of an interesting story. The first time an American, well, not the first time, but I was on a trip back to Canada, stop over in Houston. And you know, you go to these hotels, airport hotels, and I found the one that's got a little happy, little bar action going. So I went there, met some guys, and one guy wanted to buy a box off me. I didn't want to sell it to him, but he flashed money in front of me. He made me sell it to him. I said, okay, fine, I'll take the money.
20 bucks.
And then we were outside talking and smoking the cigars. And then this other guy who was a pilot, commercial pilot, out of he was from Mississippi or Louisiana, but he's a guy who really knew his tobacco. So he got him to try it. So in the beginning, he was like, "Oh, it's pretty good, not bad." As he was smoking, he's like, "Wow, this is really good." The dude started licking the cigar
Yeah.
after a while, and I was like, "Man, I might be onto something."
I mean, you are, but you? That's just kind of gross. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, but he was a true tobacco lover from the South.
I mean, that's something I may do in the comfort of my own home, not in front of people. You know, I'm like, oh, it's so good. Getting sensual with my stick. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not something that I would do in public, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I mean, I'm a tobacco geek and such too. You know, I do enjoy tearing apart cigars
Yeah.
and smelling and licking and really looking at the body and the build of the cigar. But
You're
in
not
public, yeah, I'm definitely not treating it like a lollipop. All right?
I agree. I wouldn't want to see that either.
Yeah, nobody does. No one wants to see that. You know?
But yeah, so the flavor changed. It started from it's okay, and then he was like, "Wow, I'm impressed," and so on. You know, so it's I think it's a Sumatra. It's got the greasy wrapper as the essential oils. As it warms up, they come out. I think that's what changes the flavor profile.
It is a very oily stick. I think you can see from the light the sheen that's coming off.
Yes, yeah.
This is a very oily stick.
Yeah.
Now it is a very oily stick, but it is a dry smoke. So
Yeah.
it's there is not a lot of creaminess to this cigar, but this is a very reliant on the flavors and it's one of those that you've got to be into those flavors, and it's got to hit your palate right. Right now, it's hitting my palate right. I don't mind a dry cigar. I'm fine if the smoke's dry. It's not a bad thing. You know?
I like dry. I got used to dry because at the factory it's all about drying cigars. So how long do you let them out to dry? Now dry to a certain limit, but so we put them at 65% humidity. But that's because after you roll them, they need to dry. We try to leave them for 3 months before we ship them out. And cool, the coolness helps a lot. We keep it very cool.
It is a cool smoke. I am on there, rolling around. Cool. It is cool to the touch. Yeah, this really got interesting when I hit this halfway mark, and I'm just like, okay, it's a good stick. All right, good
Yeah.
stick. Maduro's better, but now it's interesting, and I'm like, ooh, okay, all right. So this is a slow builder.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people will make right at the beginning. That's why I always tell people give it half an inch, before you. That's a Sumacho. I'm smoking the Habano right now. Whoops, where is it? Oh, there.
So now that you see where you're sitting and where you're at, and that yeah, your stuff's good. It's on shelves in retail shops. It is moving. You have a follow. You've now developed a following out there. Now are you starting to work on something new?
Well, now it's growing pains, right? So I've learned a lot. For example, how to label the cigars. I used to have different tips for them, but people, that's the first thing they throw away. They don't remember which one they had. Did they have the Sumacho? Did they have the Maduro, and so on, right? So we're coming out with a secondary band that says Maduro or Sumatra on it, so that people, if they like it, they take a picture, or they'll remember it like that.
Yeah, because I do admit I trying to remember what color each of the bands are.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah,
of like, okay, it's the gold band. Oh,
yeah,
it's the platinum
yeah,
band.
yeah,
Yeah. I think putting the name on it's better because you get
yeah,
old guys like me out there. I can't remember. People say
yeah.
it's like, oh, it's the gold one. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. So I was new, right, to the cigar industry. So I wasn't. But what I'm going to do is I want to make my adjustments early and as fast as possible, so that it becomes all the confusion. Another thing we're doing is the we're reducing the box size. I had 24 with three different kinds. Retailers told me no, you got to have one kind per box, and I'm making the boxes smaller. So instead of a box of 24, I'm going to make a box of 15, so that it's more affordable for people
it
to buy
is,
a box.
and I think the size is nice on there. I'm even a bigger fan of the box of 10.
Right.
I'm a bigger fan of that. Smaller, slimmer box fits in a humidor a lot better with the box of 10 on it, and plus, you are keeping that cost down because if you do pick up a box on that, and it
Yeah.
maybe all right, it's not for me. You're not loaded with a ton of cigars.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that you know if you have a shop that blows through a ton of these, okay, do a box of 24 for those shops that burn through a ton of your product. It's
Mm.
like that way they're not constantly having to go in the humidor and change out boxes. It's just they got a
Yeah.
box, or at least something like this they can refill the box.
Yeah.
I think that's fine for those shops. And I've talked to a couple of brands who it was like, yeah, my one of the brands I talked to said, well, this is our budget brand stick, and for our top retail shops that burn through our budget brand stick, this is a box of 84.
Oh.
So this way, it's there. It takes up a lot of space, but they burn through a ton of these. So
Right.
for them,
Right.
for those retail shops, it makes sense. I think a 24 count box is fine for your high volume retail shops that do sell a lot of your product. But a 10 count works better for everybody else.
Yeah, and frankly, when I made the boxes, it was about retailers. I wasn't thinking about people buying boxes. I was thinking about retailers selling a cigar at the box, and I made it in a space saver format. That means 4 layers of 6, so that if they tell me they don't have shelf space, I say, "Hey, man, it goes up. It doesn't go sideways."
Yeah.
So, but I'm learning. And but I do have this is very nice. It was very popular in Atlanta with the ladies. A lot of lady smokers. Is my box of 3. I don't know
There you
if
go.
you can see it, and then it comes with the 3 different blends in it. I don't know if I'm yeah, and it's a nice gift box, for like Christmas or Father's Day, and but the ladies like it because it fits perfectly in their purse, and they can keep cigars in it, and it's got that little bling on it, little gold and all that designer.
But I also think it's I also think it's good too because one, it's a sampler of everything you got, so it gives you an opportunity to try one of each and then go, I like that one a lot. Now you can seek out and buy that one that
Right.
you like,
Right.
which I like, which is nice. Samplers are always going to be big sellers
Yeah.
especially for people who are not familiar with your brand.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we added the Connecticut, so I got to figure out which three I'm going to put in there. Am I going to put the Connecticut, or am I going to put who am I going to pull out to put the Connecticut? Because the idea was somebody walks in, says, "Well, I don't know what my dad smokes, what he likes," and then you say, "Well, there's three different kinds," so he's going to kind of probably going to like one of them at least.
So you see, and the Connecticut's good for those types of buyers
Right. Yeah.
because every cigar smoker will smoke a Connecticut. Doesn't
Exactly.
matter.
Yeah.
Everybody will. Even if Connecticut's aren't your jam, you'll still
Right.
smoke it. If
Yeah.
somebody gifts me a cigar, more than likely what they're gifting me is a Connecticut because they don't know what I like or they don't know my palate. But hey, everybody will smoke a Connecticut at some point. And so, yeah, that's why retail shops always say Connecticut's move because they do, because you have the Connecticut only smokers, and then you have the gifters that
Yeah.
don't know what they like, and those are usually what retail shops
Yeah.
uh, pick out. Go,
Yeah.
okay, here, because again, nobody's gonna not smoke a Connecticut.
Yeah, exactly. I'll smoke them. I smoke everything pretty much. We traded a lot with other boutique cigar shops, cigar brands in Atlanta. I got to discover a lot. It was really interesting. A lot of younger guys, doing their own brands, and I thought it was really cool. And we trade cigars and exchange tips and stuff. It was very, very. It felt like a fraternity. It didn't feel like, oh, who's that guy? He's gonna eat my lunch type of thing. There's no haters in Atlanta. I didn't hardly see any haters. It's a really good vibe.
Uncle Larry, correct. A flavorful Connecticut is wonderful, and
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest Connecticut guy, but I'll
Hmm.
smoke. Well, I'll smoke them. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. And some of them are they're sneaky on you, and you're like, oh, dang, this is really good. Was not expecting this. I really like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, Uncle Larry, you're correct. A flavorful Connecticut goes a very long way out there. Um, I agree, and yeah, like when I go to PCA and I work with a brand at PCA. I got my backpack with me and I got it loaded full of the cigars with the brand that I'm with, and I do go to other brands and I do trade cigars out there because I also find it one important to smoke everything I can to kind of gauge what else is out there and where to go. And when Alan was creating his new blend out there, and I smoked it, and I said this is reminiscent of the champagne from Perdomo, but it's got a bit more of a punch to it. And he goes, that's what I was going for. And I go,
Mm.
yeah, I could see if people told me, yeah, I'm a champagne smoker, boom, I know exactly what to hand them because
Yeah.
it's there. It's like, yeah, this will be similar to the champagne with a little bit more of a punch to it. Uh, more of this, more of that. So yeah, I love it, and I think that's also what's great about the community. Even if you're not in the industry, man, Uncle Larry, you probably do it. And anybody else who's watching as well, we trade cigars, and when you make friends in the community, and you kind of know what some of the people that you talk to a lot smoke, and you smoke something that's like, wow, good. You're sending a care package off to, I'm sending a care package off to Uncle Larry because I know he likes this, this, and this, and
Yeah.
his palate is built like this. This cigar is down his
Right.
uh, down his wheelhouse. I want him to try it, and that's how a lot of that word of mouth, that branding, it starts
Yeah.
expanding out where it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think is great because you don't get that in a lot of other social communities out there where you're trading cigars or you're just sending stuff to a friend because you think that they'll enjoy it.
And it's fun. The cigar business for me is getting more and more fun because it's it's to me it's not work, right? It's a love, it's a creation. But now I'm enjoying the fruits of it. I go to the shops or to the lounges and I hang out and I'm smoking cigars, drinking, talking talking crap, and spending like 2-3 hours with the shop owner, building the relationships and just having fun. It's I mean, and so my kids call me, oh, I'm busy working, I'm drinking and hanging out with some guys here and smoking cigars. That's my work.
That's what I'm doing. Hey, I'm putting in the hard work. It's a sacrifice I'm making for the family. Okay? A family sacrifice.
Yeah. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go Hawaii soon because
Oh,
my uncle that I named the cigars after, his son lives in Maui, and he's gonna be one of the investors, and he's also wants to promote it because he's big in cigars as a smoker, and so we're probably gonna go do
tough,
some events in
tough,
Maui,
tough
Hawaii.
market.
Yeah, with the tobacco tax and all
The
that.
tax and tough market to get to break into in Hawaii. It's sad because Hawaii used to be one of those markets that was fantastic for cigars, but
Oh,
they've really since they've really clamped down on the anti-smoking in Hawaii
oh,
there. It
yes,
really lost a lot of its luster. They've really alienated the smoking community in Hawaii
yeah.
a lot out there, and
Let
shops
me
out there are very, very conscious about who they bring in to the shop.
Yeah, he told me all the action. He told me all the action is on the golf courses because even in the clubhouses they don't smoke anymore. Because he goes to all these PGA golf courses and he goes to Lanai to some, I think it's the 4 or 5 seasons, something like that. Anyways, he's all in that, and he's been handing them out. And he got customers ordering online from Hawaii and California. I was surprised because they like them, but it's hard, like you said, because where are you going to smoke them? So now people are smoking on the golf course, and that's where the action is. And
I
the
mean,
shops, I don't know,
they,
but he told me there's not a great selection in Hawaii of cigars.
Minnesota, California, Hawaii have really taken a page out of the
Mm.
Canadian playbook
Oh my
on
God.
pushing on discriminating against the cigar shops. Like in Minnesota, you cannot congregate in a cigar shop for more than 15 minutes. You got to get in and get out. You
Really? You can't hang out?
can't hang out. You can't stay in there and smoke. They have really clamped down. They don't want you going in, buying a cigar, lighting up, and smoking and bullshitting. In and out, you can't be in there for more than 15 minutes.
That's, my cigars are banned in Canada.
Well, it's all right. It's about more for us.
People ask me why are they banned. I said because they look too good.
Yeah, they look too good, and
Because I got to make them ugly. You've got to put a wrapper on
that
it.
ugly ass band on it.
Yeah, you got to put a brown band on it and hide it and make it ugly. And the packaging can't be pretty and all that. So I don't bother. I just say they're banned. The way they are banned.
Plus, how expensive they would be.
No, it's just not worth it. I have to put a $100,000 or $200,000 bond if I want to import into Canada because they want to make sure I pay my tobacco tax, like as a guarantee. Meanwhile, in Florida, I set up an LLC in 1 week, and then I apply online on a Sunday for my wholesaler license. Next day, Monday, guy calls me from the state of Florida. Says, "Sir, Mr. Falaki, I think you made a mistake on your application, but if you allow me to correct it, your license will be approved this afternoon." And you know how much it cost me? Zero.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. That's
All right. So now that you've worked your way into the Dallas or into the Atlanta
Atlanta.
market, yeah, are you looking at expanding out that market into some of the other markets out there, Houston, Dallas?
Definitely, definitely. Once the funding comes in, we're going to be doing a lot more. I like these events, and I've been accepted into the. I put in my application, been accepted in the Boutique Cigar Association. It's a great organization, fantastic. Anyone who runs a boutique cigar operation should really look into joining them. It's a wealth of knowledge, contacts, other experienced owners, and so on. So they also doing festivals, for the boutique brands, and so we're going to be looking to expand out. But I really want to go more in Atlanta because I don't want to just sell in the store and then that's it. The end of it, I want to connect with those people who like my cigars so that we can restock. I don't want to just let it just do a one-time deal. And I like adding locations on my locator map. We sell in this store and that store and that store, but I want to actually sell, right? I want to resell and resell. So it's picking up. People are starting to spread the word, get to know it. Festivals are good because you hand out sticks to people and things like that. You do an event, you buy 3 from the store. I'll throw one in from free from my pile and that kind of stuff. So we're still in the burning money in your hole phase right now. Burning a hole in your pocket phase,
Yeah.
but it's necessary because I want people to go out and know the cigars. And that's also why I priced them so that in Atlanta they sell for like $13.50 or so, even with the tax, so that people want to try them. Because some people say, oh, they're worth a lot more. They might be worth a lot more, but nobody knows me and so on. And I want people to smoke them. I want to make something that people love, not something that people just admire. It's something that people loved and that they can just go and buy.
Yeah, I think that's important,
Mhm.
But I think the cigars speak for themselves. Like
Yeah.
I went from I like it, it's okay.
Yeah.
I dig it. I really dig it. The
Yeah.
cigar in the course of 50 minutes has
Yeah.
totally changed my mind about what I think of, from where I was
Yeah.
at, from where it started to where it finished.
Yeah.
Again, I will speak very highly of the Maduro because I've smoked
Yeah.
a ton of them, and I think they're fantastic. The Maduros are fantastic.
That's probably our, like, kind of, if you say flagship, that's the top of the line. That's why I called it the platinum. And Carlos told me this is the one, like, because Maduro. But we got to have good Connecticut's. Our Connecticut's, Uncle Larry would be glad to know they are flavorful. And that's what I was surprised by a lot of experienced smokers, because I thought all Connecticut's are supposed to be light. But the experienced smokers and shop owners, they liked it. It's okay. It's got some flavor. Good,
Yeah, not
And
all Connecticut's. There are plenty of Connecticut's out there that pack a big punch to them,
Right.
and not what you expect. But again, there's that preconceived notion that Connecticut's are light, and
Right. Yeah.
and that's not true because it all depends on the blending of the tobacco. It's
And
what's
if it,
inside. Just don't
yeah.
pay attention to the wrapper. The wrapper has very little to do with the overall flavor and taste of the cigar. It's the inside. It's the guts that make the cigar.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize the Maduro tobacco that's been very well fermented and all the ammonia has been extracted, moved out from it. It's less bitter than a fresher, a tobacco that hasn't been gone through the serious fermentation and aging process. It might be strong. That's why the Maduro, if you noticed, it's strong, but it's not itchy. Like you can retrohale easily.
Oh, the retrohale in that Maduro is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're a retrohale person, if you're
Yeah.
not, you're missing out. But the retrohale on that is good. The retrohale on this one is really good. I mean, if you're a person that likes a really spicy, punchy retro, the
Yeah.
Sumatra, it's
Yeah.
very spicy, very punchy.
Yeah. You got to try the Habano next time.
Oh, I will. Look, I'm sold on your brand. You don't have to.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't have to sell me on it. You got to sell the people who are watching. And
No, I just want you to try. I don't know if you tried it yet. I want you to try the Habano. Just because whenever I find people that really truly love cigars, I'm just so eager to give them cigars to smoke and enjoy.
and it's fantastic. So this is my first time with the Sumatra.
Wow.
I've smoked 5 of the Maduros, and they are fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. What else can I say about the whole operation? So we went about where the farms are located, who makes them. Carlos Vereda Tabacalera Flor de San Luis. That's where he's from, the region San Luis. That was the name of the tabacalera that his grandfather was running, and he used the same name in Nicaragua. They're all Cuban seeds, of course, but the same seed grown in two different parts of Nicaragua has a totally different flavor profile.
Yes, completely different soil content between all the
Yeah,
different regions. That's why you can't, if you say Nicaragua, you got to break it down because
yeah,
you
yes,
know
yeah,
one
yeah,
area is very sweet,
yeah,
one is very earthy, one is very every region of Nicaragua
yeah.
is completely different. It's the same thing here in the United States.
Mm.
What you get out of the Connecticut River Valley is completely different than what you get out of Pennsylvania. What you get out of Virginia, Maryland, what you get out of Florida.
Yeah,
The regions are just all completely different, and you get a completely different flavor out of the tobacco.
yeah, absolutely. Now the wrappers, we do Ecuadorian wrappers. We're gonna make our own wrappers eventually, Carlos, but he needs to get greenhouses to do that because you want indirect light to get the soft leaves, or else you have to get them off the bottom of the plants. But there's limited quantities of that, so he can get some wrappers, but not enough to make production. So eventually, we'll
Yeah,
make our own wrappers.
you don't want to go with the mixing in each of your the mixing of the wrappers between, well, this is what we grew and this is what we bought for the same cigar. It's just
Yeah.
it change the dynamic of it.
No, I mean for us, we keep consistency, right? So we have a blend, and it's in a little black book, handwritten. It's not something you're going to find on a hard drive or anything like that. It's really we keep it close to the chest because, like I said, Carlos has been burned before by people, copying him or getting the blend and going to another producer or whatever. But me, I'm we're, we're all in this together, and we're going to go all the way.
I think that's important though, and I think that you've created something that really shows the cigar smoker out there what you're all about. Because again, I said it when we started the show that your tagline is the new generation of luxury cigars, and I honestly believe that. Like, because you told
Mm,
people, it's like, you're telling me your stick's 12, $13. No way. This is a
yeah,
$20, $30 smoke.
you're
Yeah,
right.
you know what? If you're
Yeah.
willing to pay that, great. But you're providing luxury at kind of at really a nominal price.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, I want my objective. We're not going to make multi-million billions with this, but we're going to have a good brand that's going to stand on its own. And I want to make my objective is to make something that people love. And from that, everything will fall into place, I believe.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And anybody who's watching, if you're really interested in wanting to try Belmaachi cigars, down in the description, I do have a link that'll take you directly to their website with a promo code that you can use to save some coinage off of your order. So if you wanted to pick up a fiver, go ahead. If you want to pick up the sampler box that he showed off earlier, you can, and you can save yourself some money because who doesn't like saving money?
Yeah, so it's a good discount. It's cheaper than any store you'll find it at, and in Hawaii it's probably going to be like $18. So in Hawaii we can, as long as we're doing low volume, we don't have to charge the tobacco tax. When we get high volume, well, we'll have a different problem then. A good problem.
It's a good problem to have.
Mm.
Not a problem you want, but it's
But
a
for
good
but
problem.
for now, we ship all over the United States, um, and it's Florida, regular pricing, like in low tax places, right? And then again, of course, for your subscribers, they get it even cheaper, and maybe we can do once in a while some like special promos for like Christmas or some things like that, just to get it out there a little bit more.
There you go. See, Sam is a man of the people. He's
I'm just an ordinary guy. I speak all these languages. People, they say I don't like to, but but at heart, I get along with everybody.
Like I'm really sold on the cigars. I was really sold on the Maduro. I'm
Yeah,
now sold on the Sumatra, and I'm not a Sumatra guy,
yeah,
but
you said
the
that. Yeah,
blend, the blend really speaks for itself on that. Plus, you add in that promo code, you're gonna save some money on that.
yeah,
I mean, go. Even if you
yeah,
don't, even if you just want to support Sam, I'm going to tell you, use the promo code anyway off your first order anyway, because that will help Sam track where the business is coming from, and he can see that you came from my
yes.
show and that you saw the program and you ordered off of that. And then the next time when you place a reorder, because you will place a reorder on that, then you can just buy it direct. You don't need to use the promo
Yeah.
code.
And it helps me a lot because I like to know, where how I'm doing, how I'm promoting, which channels, which areas, and so on. It's so please do use it. It's 505 review, I think that's what it
That's
was.
correct. 505 review. And again,
Yeah.
there's a direct link down in the description, so you can. I made it easy for you people, so you can just click that link, and it'll take you right there. It'll take you right there. And if you want to click the link tree, I also put it up in my link tree as well.
We got a comment 505.
What's going on, Joe B? Good to see you.
Uh,
Yeah, I think that it's a.
does anybody
Go ahead.
I was wondering if anybody had any questions from the audience like
Yeah,
last
anybody
time.
in the audience have any questions about Belmaachi Cigars or the fact we're giving him a pass because he's Canadian? You
Canadian, Moroccan, Bulgarian,
know,
everything.
that's right.
I,
You know,
I tell the ladies I'm whatever you want me to be.
you're right. That's right. I mean, we all know Canada's not a real country anyway, but we'll give him a pass.
Uh, yeah, can you believe it? Montreal has only 3 cigar lounges left right now, and they're not giving out any more licenses.
Canada really doesn't like you guys.
Yeah, and then so where are we going to smoke? 6 months of the year is snow. You got to have like a special, I smoke by my fireplace because the fireplace sucks in all the,
Yeah,
all the.
it is. Like I do have a couple cigar friends from Canada, and they've told me the horror stories
Yeah,
about going to the lounges, about buying cigars,
yeah.
and the fact that there's even trying legislation now to even try and ban you from smoking in your own house.
We have there's a neighborhood here in Montreal. It's called Hampstead, and it's no smoking. You can't smoke in your own house, and it's an uppity kind of like upper middle class or whatever. And can you believe that they ban you from smoking on your porch or in your house?
Yeah, you guys gave away all your freedoms, so
Yeah,
well.
but
I was
I
telling
didn't. I didn't. I'm going down. I'm going south. I'm going south. I told my daughter, get ready. You already know how to cook now. You know how to do your laundry. You got to be independent because in 5 years, when you're 18, I'm out of here.
I'm out. I say Uncle Larry says there he's from the greater Pittsburgh area, and they have
All right.
lounges out there. Yes, they do. Pittsburgh
Okay.
has a
All right.
lot of great lounges out that way. Pennsylvania in general has a lot of great lounges all over the Pittsburgh, Erie, Philadelphia areas have a lot of fantastic lounges.
Yeah, I heard that in a lot of the shops in New York set up addresses in Pennsylvania to receive their cigars from wholesalers just because the taxes and all that.
Yeah, yeah, it's like that in a few states. Set
Yeah.
them up in other states, that are right close by, so they can get
Yeah.
away of to try and at least not make this a $25 cigar.
Yeah. Come on.
You already got to pay absorbent taxes. Colorado was
Yeah.
52%, and the beginning of the year it goes up to 63%.
I wonder what the tax is on marijuana.
Um,
Probably nothing in California.
they're a bit, in Colorado, they're up there, but there's quite a few budget shops around.
Okay.
Baby Mama does part. We do hit up a couple of the budget lounges because I'm not dropping $200 on an ounce of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it would be ironic if a place like California has no tax on marijuana, but taxes the hell out of cigars,
Oh,
which you don't even inhale.
I'm pretty sure that they probably got stupid taxes on marijuana in
Mm.
California. If their taxes are that dumb on tobacco, I'm pretty sure that on marijuana it's even worse. It's
Yeah.
even worse out there. But yeah, Pennsylvania, great state, and they manufacture fantastic tobacco in Pennsylvania as well. So if you're a fan of 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 the Pennsylvania broadleaf,
Yeah. Atlanta. Somebody told me Atlanta has like 190 shops.
it's probably more.
It's insane. Yeah.
It's insane. The last time I was in Atlanta, we did a lounge crawl uh, around the downtown area, and there's like 20 that you could walk to.
Okay.
So it's
I
like,
don't have time to do all that. You know why? Because when I go sit down somewhere and the owner wants to kick it with me, I just hang out there as long as he doesn't want as long as he doesn't mind me being there, because I just find it's fun to just hang out and.
so are you looking at like doing a PCA trade show where you can sit and smoke?
So yeah, so with the BCA, the Boutique
Because
Cigar
you're going to be part of the
Association.
pavilion at PCA then.
Yeah, so they have a pavilion.
Okay.
Now the question is, am I ready? Am I big enough to be in the pavilion?
I don't think that's a matter of whether you're big enough. I think the fact that you have a product that speaks for itself,
Yeah.
one, and it's a very good product out there, and that a lot more shops are expanding out of the big name, big brand line of stuff into more, because this is more of what people want now.
Yeah, I compare it to craft beer. In the beginning, craft beer. Now you got every town you go into, give me your local. Like everywhere I go, if I want a beer, I say, "What you got local?" And they always have a local on tap. You know.
Yeah, Uncle Larry wanted to know. He probably came in late.
Sam Belmaachi rolled. Yeah, so they're made by my friend Carlos Pareda, who's a sixth generation Cuban tabacalero. He moved to Nicaragua to continue the family legacy because it's kind of hard to do that in Cuba, and he's the factory's in Esteli, so they're rolled in Esteli. The tobacco is Jalapa, Somoto, and Condega, but it's rolled in Esteli. And actually, we're expanding there. He's building actually a huge, because he's got two factories actually. He's a medium-sized producer. So they're rolled in Esteli in Nicaragua. Yeah.
There you go, Uncle Larry, Nicaraguan out there. Larry, these are fantastic cigars.
Yeah.
Um, it's good. Yeah, I don't think it's a matter of whether you're big enough. I think one is what the biggest constraint is going to be the finances on that, because going to a big trade show like PCA is going to be the
Right.
financials of it. But as long as you're confident in knowing that you're going to that this is your first trade show, you're going to lose money, and you're okay with that, but it gets your name out there. Because I over the years that I've gone to PCA, I've seen small brands like yours, okay, do nothing the first year, but they got their name out there and then blew up the second year that they went, because people remembered them from the year prior.
Right.
So it was like, how was your show? It stunk. All right, we did not, I gave out.
I didn't get a 10,000 here and a 10,000 there and 20,000 sticks.
I gave out 1,000 sticks out there, and I made one sale. But then the next year they show, how was the show this year? Oh, it was. I picked up 20 new accounts.
Yeah.
It was like, this show is great. As long as you can go in with that mindset that, all right, it's our first year here, people don't know us. I'm going to be burning through a ton of product, giving away samples to people. But when I go back the next year, people are going to remember my brand. And that's where, you're going to get that, boom, that growth that you're there. You can't, it's nice to go in with that mindset that hey, I'm going to crush it my first year, but it's highly unlikely. But,
Yeah.
As long as you're all right with that,
Yeah.
it's only a benefit to you because that's all I hear is that people, yeah, man, I made sales from people who I saw last year who they weren't interested, but they remembered me and they liked the cigar, and now I'm here, and now, hey, I signed them up. They're a new account.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, it's hard now I'm learning about the growing pains, because it's hard to predict demand and production. And because it takes 3 months to dry the cigars, we can get away with 1 month, but I prefer them to dry for 3 months to have it really, primo, that all the different blends of the tobacco are at the same humidity level and that they've, mingled for a long time. It makes a big difference. It's hard
Yeah,
to,
I think. I mean, look, don't change how you do things to rush stuff out because
yeah,
that's gonna be negative for the brand. It's a
yeah,
matter of that you know what you got, the quality that you have, and so here, and you've got a great story to go behind it. And again, the
yeah,
story, selling that story is just as important as having the cigar speak for itself. You've got both. You've got a great story behind the
yeah.
cigar, and you've got a great tobacco product that speaks for
Yeah.
itself.
Well, thank you so much. It means so much to me. Like I said, I just want to make something that people love.
I thoroughly enjoy the cigars.
That's
I
great.
I can't say right now. 2 for 2. You know, 2 for 2.
Okay.
I really like the Maduro. The Maduro's fantastic. That Sumatra's really good. That one was sneaky good. I mean,
Surprised you, huh?
like I
Oh,
told you, I went into it as I started the cigar. It's okay. I'm like, all right, it's all right. You know, not really
yeah,
my jam. Not so much my jam. It's okay. It's good.
yeah.
But as that thing started building deeper and deeper and deeper into the cigar, by the time I got halfway into the cigar, I'm like, this thing is amazing.
Uncle Larry says it's nice to get out in the lounges and interact with the owners and the customer base. And absolutely, I learned this because I just assumed that most of the sales were online. And when I went on the ground and I realized that no, all these people who call and try to do sales on the telephone and all that, you've got to get down there, interact. People are happy to see the owner of the brand. They like that. They respect that. In America and Canada, it's like, oh, you're the owner and you're doing this. You must be small. But in the United States, no, it's not that. They respect it. They're like, oh man, respect. Boots on the ground. Come and talk to me. I'm talking to the brand owner. What an honor. It's different. It's really nice. And
That FaceTime is important to get out there.
yeah,
But it
absolutely.
has led to opportunities for you because you've gotten out there by the people that you have met, from the lounges that have brought you in to the customer base and to even somebody who's big like Cigar Mike.
Yeah.
Being out there and getting your face out there has been beneficial to the growth of the brand. So
And all the shop owners know each other. So they ask me, "Oh, where are your cigars now?" I said, "Well, I got them." So, oh, Pablo got your cigars, in Marietta or Casa del Tabaco. He goes, "Oh, they must be good then," And then, I do an event. They do poker night, and one of the guys playing poker later on in the evening goes, "Hey, man, I want you to come by my shop tomorrow. I like your cigars." I'm like, "Oh, you got a shop?" And then I go there, and then there's another guy who's got a shop that's 20 minutes away. They're all buddies. He happens to be there. Goes, "Hey, why don't you come by my shop tomorrow?" It's great. You're true, very, very, very true, Uncle Larry.
yeah, that's important. It all.
And that's why I like the festivals. The Cigar Mike Festival. I'm sorry to cut you off here.
Oh no, you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Cigar Mike experience was just absolutely insane, and people from all over the country. And I've had people come from these good time gangs and all this stuff, and they've got like, oh, we've got 54 chapters around the nation, clubs of cigar smokers. I'm like, wow, it's and I think of it like maybe I was thinking, is it like golf, where golf used to be so exclusive that just the rich go to their private clubs, but it's a very popular sport, very very popular sport. It's become very popular sport. I think cigar smoking is becoming more and more popular in the U.S. especially.
Uh, it, Cigar smoking is very popular out here, but it's not exclusive because it's for everybody. You
Well,
don't have
that's
to
the
make
thing.
it exclusive club. I mean,
Yes.
you can walk into any lounge in this country and sit
Yeah.
down and leave there with somebody who's now your best friend that that you honestly felt like, man, I feel like I've known this guy forever.
Yeah. Yeah. He asks if we need tobacco. Delight one by the container. We grow our own leaf, and it's all in Nicaragua, so we don't. But there's a lot of brands who import into Miami. But I appreciate it. Thank you, there, Delight.
Good. Thanks for coming and hanging out tonight, man.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And so the last thing I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, the tobacco. So I love about cigars is because I used to smoke cigarettes. I quit a year ago thanks to cigars. It's much better than vaping. And you still get that kind of nicotine buzz, but a lot of people who like to poo poo on cigars, they think it's for like, oh, it's this certain kind of people or whatever. And I remind them, I said, this is the number one spiritual plant of the Americas. There must be a reason for it, and it's
Yeah.
all natural. And our wrappers are made of cellophane, which is biodegradable. So hey, back off a little bit on the poo pooing on cigars. It's a good thing.
It is, and you're from Canada that also at one point had a very rich tobacco history to it. Out
Yes,
there,
they grew a lot of tobacco.
had some of the best filler that was used in tobacco back in
Yeah.
the 50s and 60s. Um,
Yeah,
there
it
you
used
go,
to be
Uncle Larry.
driving. Thank you. Awesome. Which whereabouts are you? In did he say was it him that
Yeah,
said
Uncle Larry's in the Pittsburgh area.
in Pittsburgh? That's right. Okay, good. I'll remember that.
There you go. And Delta One say he's a broker and he knows the AJF people there in Estoril.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Very
Okay.
cool. Nice.
All right. Okay.
That's good. Again, if anybody in the chat you want to try the cigars, definitely I got a link down in the description. You just click on it. It'll take you directly to the Belmaachi website. Use the promo code to save some coinage. Whether you want to buy a 5-pack, a box, or the sampler box that he had showed off earlier, out there, all available to you. Everything on the website. You're going to get yourself a nice little discount there if you use the promo code. So take advantage of it.
Yeah.
I highly recommend the cigars.
And we have and we have flat rate shipping, $7 all across the nation, no matter what you order.
That's right, and that discount will basically make shipping free. So you're getting a good deal. And of course, he was on the Tuesday night show with Brandy and I, and he did get a drool bucket worthy cigar, and it definitely is a drool bucket worthy cigar.
All right.
It is a fantastic smoke out there, so I highly recommend it. Anything you'd like to promote before we end out the show tonight?
Well, no, I just came back from the trip there in Atlanta. I was exhausted, but I got a good night and day's rest, so I'm feeling good today. And I look forward to. We're adding a lot of Connecticut's now. We did a test run, so there's going to be a lot of Connecticut's, flavorful ones as well, coming in our next shipment, in our next batch, which is going to be very soon.
Excellent. So go support Belmaachi. Everything Belmaachi is down in the description to their website, to their social medias. So make sure you go follow and connect. Use the promo code to save some coinage when you order off of the website there. And that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Chat, you guys rocked it. Next Monday night, Daniel Lance of Domain Cigars will be my guest. And next Tuesday night, we are back for Raw Cigar Review over on my IG Live. Brandy and I, we got the legend AJ Buford from Big Country Cigars dropping in. He's got a new stick, so we're definitely looking forward to smoking that. Awesome. That's it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything Sam and I wouldn't do because we're the boys. And we're going to see you all later. Everybody, peace out.